Good morning, Patriot fam. It is morning too. Oh
yes,
my gosh,
good morning. After a late night of networking and doing lots of crazy good things here in DC, we are awake with you in the morning.
With very little voice, you
yes.
can hear. It's like when you talk all day. It's hard.
I feel like it's coming back a little bit.
You actually sound better today than you sound the whole trip.
You know what I've been doing? I've been taking allergy medicine.
Do you think that's just DC, or do you think
it may have been an allergy issue this entire time? Because I have been on some medication to help with this.
Yeah.
But it's been fluctuating. So I don't know. It's been going on for a little while. Anyway,
welcome, guys. We are still live from DC. Of course, we're here meeting with representatives. We'll go into that in a little bit. But guys, we're hearing lots of good things from people that have been watching our podcast throughout, even in the circle of influence that we're in here. And Allie, this kind of open platform, speak what you want to say, is very new to people, even in our right side of the aisle movement.
Yeah.
So I think they were a little shocked when Allie goes off, or I go off, because they haven't seen the show all the time. So they're like, oh my gosh, what are you? Kind of powerhouses.
But it's really good because we come with, we're informed. I mean, it's not like we don't know what we're talking about. So it's very interesting to see. I've enjoyed it. I think everyone else around us has enjoyed it too. And we all know that you do. So thank you for watching from all of our listeners everywhere. Spotify, TikTok, YouTube, Rumble, and X. We love y'all so much.
Thank you so much for joining us, guys. Let's go ahead and open that mic.
Taking back our freedom, back to where we started. We're wearing our red hat tonight. It takes more than just a feeling. Oh, better be believing, and America's gonna be home.
What do you do when they try to cancel you? Nagging nation, we cancel proof. My red hat stays on. My red hat stays on. You know I love God, but in Trump I trust. November 5th, he gon' ride with us. Our red hat stays on. Our red hat stays on. It's the Mayor Maggie, the RNC King. 2024, freedom gon' ring. Mr. Red, White, and Blue. I'm still fighting for each one of you. And keep your red hat on.
All right. Welcome back, guys. Again, wherever you are joining us from, feel free to chime in the comments below. Make sure that you like, share, and subscribe, and follow at Real Allie Leger, at Michelle Posey, and of course at Open Mic Ladies. Make sure you follow us. All right, let's dive into it. I think first up on the list here we have.
Gosh, we've had some terrible election results in a couple states.
Yeah. Oh, rest in peace to. I didn't have it pulled up, but it just jumped in my head. Dick Cheney passed away. So the flags here in DC are all at half staff. Of course, you don't want to lose anybody. So my prayers go out to his family, but this is really the author of the failed intelligence through the Iraq War, among other things. So
yeah.
Sorry. You know how we're just gonna you just kind of want to leave stuff right where they're at.
Yeah. Well, rest in paradise, I guess.
Well, can we start off with a quick clip from Byron Donalds, who is slated to be potentially the next governor of Florida? I think that's what we think. He took to the stage the other day and really had something bold to say about the election results in New York City mayoral elections. Let's take a listen.
We all see what's happening in New York. Mom Donnie, that lunatic. He doesn't know economics. He's never had a real job, but he's going to lecture you and I about how policy and how systems work. He doesn't know what he's talking about, but worse, he is a radical of the worst kind. So for those of you in the city of New York who may have to, and hopefully Jack Ciattarelli becomes the next governor of New Jersey, and you could go across the Hudson. But if you need a place to go and you're not quite sure, always remember that in Florida, we are the free state of Florida, as Rick Scott said. We are the place and we are the land that will always stand by the Jewish people, as Governor DeSantis has done. And you have my word that going forward, Florida will always stand for freedom and liberty, and we will never tolerate anti-Semitism.
Well, happy to hear it.
We agree. We agree. And I don't think our representatives really understand that the infrastructure cannot handle a mass migration. It's hard. And then when you have projections of, real estate agents, and property skyrocketing, it's already high. And the people that have lived in Florida can't afford to buy homes as it is, because we have these corporations that are fleeing from where they are to come here to capitalize on the fact that others are moving here. So they'll buy up land, they'll buy up property, they'll build homes, or they'll buy the homes and then resell them or rent them at higher costs.
Very high costs.
So it essentially buys out the locals that are trying to start families and trying to buy their own homes. So
and we're making a local wage.
Right.
So, and that's part of the issue with our school systems even, is that, what we pay teachers is wonderful, but when you think about what they have to go through in order to live sometimes in the districts that they teach, it's impossible for
and
them
a lot
to
of these
support a family.
people that are able to flee some of these now communist socialist run cities are more wealthy and can pay $400,000 for a 3-bedroom in the middle of God knows where.
Well, and
cash most times.
Yeah, it's not fair. And so Rick Scott has said this. DeSantis actually came out with a little bit of a different take on it yesterday. Was it yesterday?
He did a poll actually, and it was. Let's see if I can pull this up, because the poll was kind of funny.
Be careful what you ask the public for, because they will respond.
Oh
and
my!
You may not get the answer you wanted.
It was quite funny. The poll says Floridians' response to Mamdani's election in New York City should be to 1, build a Florida border wall, 2, tariff all transplants, or 3, recruit new transplants. Recruit new transplants was 14%.
Not many people believe that, right?
Tariff all transplants was at 38%. Now Texas is trying to do the same thing.
What one? Build the wall?
Build a wall. 1 at 48%. Wow. We're going to build a Florida wall.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know.
Georgia, we'll put your peaches on one side. We'll put like alligators on the other side. I don't know. I mean,
I don't know.
Floridians
Peaches might get people to like come to the wall.
Yeah, let's not
take
or they're
peaches.
pecans. They're always advertising their anyway.
Yeah.
So it's not all things are what they seem. Obviously, we've said this. If you're promising people free stuff, somebody's got to pay for that. So I think some people in New York might already be having a little bit of buyer's remorse, Allie, because Mamdani came out with this video explaining how he's going to pull all this off, but he's asking for money. Let's take a listen.
Good morning, New York City. Thank you. Last night we made history, and today we begin the work of making a new administration. Welcome to the transition. This is the period over the next few months where we build a city hall that delivers on the promises of our campaign, to make New York City affordable and to make government accountable to the people it serves. As we prepare to govern, we'll start announcing the leaders who will help implement our agenda. People like deputy mayors who oversee entire areas of government, and the commissioners who carry out the critical work of city agencies. These appointments will be driven by excellence, integrity, and hunger to solve old problems with new solutions. Talking to organizers on the front lines of the fight to improve our city, government veterans with proven track records, policy experts from around the country and the world, working people who know better than anyone what our neighborhoods deserve. And this will be a period, like the campaign we ran and the city hall to come, defined by transparency, because New Yorkers deserve a government they can trust. On January 1st, I will be your mayor. New Year's Day and a new era for this city. Oh, and one more thing. Remember how I told you a few months ago to stop sending us money? You can start again. This transition requires staff, research, and an infrastructure that can meet this moment. And it will be made possible by the people who built and believe in this movement. So I hope you'll make a donation at transition2025.com. Now let's get to work.
What?
Yup.
That's very interesting. I see why people voted for him, though, to be honest with you.
The messaging?
The messaging and the charismaticness, his charisma.
Don't tell me that. Listen, all of these people, we have a few that travel with us, but all these people that film and edit, and you're like, oh, what are you going to do for your job when the film industry is way out in LA? No, this is why everybody needs a marketing team. You can see that they push him very well in the marketing. I mean, that appeals to that younger generation of voters. However, they're going to find out really quick that there's only socialism fails because eventually you run out of other people's money. I mean, they're just like, what happens when all the promises you make, you can't keep all of them? I mean, listen, socialism never solved everyone's problem.
No, it didn't. And it doesn't look good for New York.
So apparently, Ali, Mandami, and I didn't get a chance to listen to his acceptance speech, if you will. There are rumors out there. I could not corroborate it yesterday. There are rumors that he does not want to swear in with an oath to the Constitution because he cannot take an oath to something that he doesn't believe in.
What?
That was widely reported yesterday on X. However, the accounts that were reporting it, I could not link it to something that we consider trusted.
Okay.
And I've looked like at the Bennies and all of them, and I could not see them sharing it. So just putting that out there, we will be checking on that. But also, Trump had some really great comments because I guess Mandami, he said, "Hear me, Mr. President, when I say this, to get to any of us," because obviously he's talking about withholding certain funds from New York City, you will have to get through all of us. And I'm just going to let you guys take a listen to Trump's response.
I want to talk about New York City real quick. You're a New Yorker. You famously kind of had a fight with Ed Koch back in the 70s and 80s as he was a mayor. He obviously wasn't a democratic socialist, as you call the mayor-elect Zohran Mamdani a communist. But is there any part of you that looks at Mamdani and says, it is good for you politically to have a big foil there that you're going to talk about for the next 3 years?
You know, I'm so torn because I would like to see the new mayor do well because I love New York. I really love New York. When I left New York for Washington, New York was doing really well, but there were some bad signs. The bad sign was a guy named de Blasio. So the signs of de Blasio, that was the beginning, and it was bad. This one, we're going to look. For 1,000 years, communism has not worked. Communism or the concept of communism has not worked. Mm-hmm. I tend to doubt it's going to work this time.
Did you see his victory speech?
It's literally never worked. Yeah, I thought it was a very angry speech, certainly angry toward me. And I think he should be very nice to me. You know, I'm the one that sort of has to approve a lot of things coming to him. So he's off to a bad start.
At one point, he says, turn the volume up.
So hear me, President Trump, when I say this. To get to any of us, you will have to get through all of us.
How do you respond to that? Does that affect anything you're going to do?
It's a very dangerous statement for him to make, actually. And, you know, you talk about danger. I think it's a very dangerous statement for him to make. He has to be a little bit respectful of Washington because if he's not, he doesn't have a chance of succeeding. And I want to make him succeed. I want to make the city succeed. I don't want to make him succeed. I want to make the city succeed, and we'll see what happens.
Did you see reaching out to him?
I would say he should reach out to us, really. I think he should reach out. Right. I'm here.
I'm sorry. That just was
I love President Trump.
Who's going to call first? Like, you know what? I'm just going to wait for him to call me because I feel like I put the ball in your court.
The ball's in your court, bro.
Dribble, 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 shoot. It's been long days, you guys.
Shoot the ball down the court. I don't know.
He was like, I think probably he should call me. That's going to be a clip. I think we should make that into something.
That is kind of funny.
Like, I'm just waiting for him to call me.
I think he should call me. I'm here. You know where I'm at. It's not like you don't have my phone number. Interesting.
Oh my gosh,
I'm so worried about New York. I'm so worried. I mean, there were a couple of reports yesterday that some people woke up to like swastikas on churches and streets and stuff. It's strange.
It's disheartening, but then at some point it's like that political pendulum really does swing far and wide, and it looks like New York City is going all the way this way. So maybe the only uptick to that or the upside to that is when you do get what you want and you realize it wasn't what you thought, maybe that helps people to, I don't know, not vote for this junk anymore. Charlie Kirk called it out. He knew exactly where our battle lied, and not just with the extreme communist Marxists, but this extreme Islam movement. I believe, again, uncorroborated reports that I read yesterday were saying that as he's sworn in, he's not obviously putting his hand on the Bible. He's putting his hand on the Quran, which is something that our founding fathers did not leave leeway for. I'm just interested what your opinion is of that. But let's take a listen to Charlie Kirk as he said. You can see this post he made. Islam is the sword the left is using to slit the throat of America. Take a listen.
Ooh.
The spiritual battle is coming to the West, and the enemies are wokeism or Marxism combining with Islamism to go after what we call the American way of life. And the American way of life is very simple. I want to be able to get married, buy a home, have kids, allow them to ride their bike till the sun goes down, send them to a good school, have a low crime neighborhood, not to have my kid be taught the lesbian, gay, transgender garbage in their school, while also not having them have to hear the Muslim call to prayer 5 times a day. That's important. We want the American way of life, which is, by the way, Christendom. Christians, our sacrifice, our toil, our vision, the outgrowth of the scriptures gave us Western civilization. And this is where I think is a great rallying cry. Doesn't matter if you're Hispanic, doesn't matter if you're Asian, doesn't matter if you're black or white. Everybody, if you are Christian and Jesus Christ is your Lord and Savior, these two threats are combining forces to come after us. And it's time that the church stands and rises up against it.
Yep.
Out of the mouth of Charlie Kirk.
Sometimes this clip is doctored or edited where they completely forget to put the Islam part in the beginning. I've seen it before, but I haven't seen it in its entirety, where he speaks about the first part about having Islam taking hands with the left. It is.
And listen, it's not because I've here in DC, I've seen bumper stickers where, people are talking about, not going after Muslims, not going after people who have a different faith than us. And so I want to be very clear when we talk about this topic. This is the country that you come to for political freedom and for your freedom of faith, not freedom from faith, freedom of faith. And so obviously most religions, including Christianity, will allow you to practice whatever you want to practice as your religion. It's not, as long as you're not hurting other people, like it's not a big deal. But the issue that we now have in this culture that doesn't want to say no to anybody and that doesn't want to stand on our founding principles because it's
they don't know them.
Well, and it's just like scripture. It's not nice. Our founding documents were very clear, and they're not going to make you feel all warm and fuzzy. But there was a reason why we've always had people that were elected to office that had to declare a faith that was centered around Christ, because it's just like if you look at Old Testament Israel, like they had to, those leaders of the state of Israel had to come from the family of Aaron and Moses. They came, it was a kingdomdom, I guess you could say, where you were of the bloodline of those pastors that they felt were closest to God. We did something similar in this country where we said, listen, in order to the Constitution feels almost null and void without Christianity.
Right.
Because if you don't have the moral compass that's required, then any kind of rule of law or any kind of government or community really falters. Why do you think we have laws? Laws are just a governing book of morality, really.
Right.
So it's weird to see now that how we're going to accept people that are coming in and running for office and taking office that will refuse a Christian worldview. How does that line up with our Constitution?
Or a constitutional worldview?
I'm going to step out because we have a technical glitch and
Yeah, it's just us.
So if I don't,
do you want me
fix
to
it.
grab it? I can grab
Yeah,
it. Right
go
here.
ahead. Yeah. Let's adjust the camera. Adjusting camera. 3, 2, 1. Good. Okay. So Allie, it's extremely interesting to see how this is going to play out. Charlie Kirk, you can hear him there. One of the things that we've talked about in circles that we're in is, especially the other day, it came up at lunch, that really how bold Charlie Kirk was. There was a couple people on the right yesterday that I spoke with that felt that he went a little too far and was a little too harsh in the way he delivered it. And I love how our pastor
I don't think
says
he was on the right. I think the guy we spoke to was more libertarian.
the white suit.
Yeah.
Okay.
But either way, I don't think Charlie was that harsh.
If you're not a Christian, you're going to think that's harsh.
And that's good.
And these are the days
that's good.
where the Bible says what They'll consider what's right to be wrong and what's wrong to be right. Speaking absolute truth. Hey, your tag's sticking out. Hey, your hair's sticking up. Absolute truth is actually done in love.
Yeah.
When you want me to bend a knee to your delusion, that is not love.
Or
if you're
to-
coming to me at 105 pounds and telling me you're fat, and that's why you're anorexic, I'm going to tell you, no, love, you're not. And I'm not
Right.
saying that because I hate you. I'm saying that because I love you.
Right.
So his words, Charlie Kirk's words, without the Christianity filter,
And
sounds like hate.
Charlie won an entire generation, which is
Yes,
why
ma'am.
there's, I mean, it felt like losing a close family member
Yeah.
because of how touched everybody was by him.
I like that.
And yes, when you trigger someone by telling them the truth, they're obviously going to recoil or they're going to lash out. But Charlie was able to effectively pierce through that shield.
Yeah.
And he did it in such a gracious way. So I don't, that was a little interesting hearing.
It was very interesting. And I think we'll hear more of that as his, I'm not going to say his memory fades, but as we become more desensitized to what happened. Pause for a moment, because while we were here yesterday, we know you guys saw a rerun. Long lines everywhere we went because of the
trying to get in. They've closed down certain entrances, one because
of
the shutdown,
well,
but also
the No Kings protest found its way here on November 5th. If you remember, we showed you a clip last week.
A lady showed up with a vacuum. I don't understand.
She was in line with a vacuum.
Like a Dyson cordless vacuum. What are you, ma'am? Are you there to clean? I don't understand.
I think that's what she was saying. We're cleaning house, but I was like, that's not. And everybody in these, you got to follow us on social media because we posted a lot. But everybody in these red robes with like bonnets, and they had these little triangles, upside down triangles on their.
But there's like from like the Handmaid's Tale,
Yes.
and they're trying to. It's like trying to make it seem like they're the. I'm like, this is close enough to like a burqa. I don't.
So somebody was like, well, it's theater. It's political theater.
It is political
if you
theater.
think about it, that's exactly what
We
it
did
felt
have a friend of ours that was standing with us who was like, I could totally do without the political theater. This is crazy.
Capitol Police were out in full force. And then we really, as we left the meetings yesterday around 5:30, it was very quiet. So, and Trump was still in power. So it worked. We still don't have a king. All right. Good job, guys. Good job. Wow. I don't know what we would do without these leftist activists that are keeping Trump as their president. It's just pretty amazing. Trump did have more to say about Mondami and maybe a little bit of his plan. Of course, he went off script, and that terrifies me sometimes. Maybe he's going to need a vacuum because he's talking about cleaning up some of the mess now in New York City.
Maybe he can borrow that lady's vacuum.
Take a listen.
On November 5th, 2024, the American people reclaimed our government. We restored our sovereignty. We lost a little bit of sovereignty last night in New York, but we'll take care of it. Don't worry about it. We rescued our economy, regained our liberty, and together we saved our country. On November 5th,
we saved our country. So here's the thing I wanted to say about this, because I know I can just, you know how you can hear the left talking points in your head when before you say something. We respect duly elected elections and representatives. So there's some questions I have specifically about New York City, really New Jersey and Virginia,
but all three actually,
about the election process, about people on social media saying that they're voting for the 6th time as they're going into the
right.
I mean, do I trust New York City to handle elections locally and fairly? And no, I do not.
Do I trust Virginia? I mean, no.
Do
we
always trust any? Listen, in our state of Florida, our election systems are largely run by third-party vendors. What?
Right.
Third-party vendors? That is my freaking vote. We don't have like, okay, anyway. So this is why Florida loves us. You girls are nice. Can you just not talk about election integrity? So I don't think Trump's talking about undoing what the American people or what the New York City residents have done, apparently, in electing Mandami. I think he's talking about not allowing, in our America First policy, not allowing Mandami to have access to funds that he will use to do something that goes against the Constitution or against the liberty that we say we represent in this country.
And you know what is going to be just so disheartening is that we are going to have people on the other side of this say that he's becoming a tyrant, trying to keep Mamdani from doing certain things that are antithetical to America. But when you have good, strong leadership in place and you don't know what that looks like, and you don't know what that looks like acted out, it's going to look like it's tyrannical.
And this is why local government and local elections are so important, because you as New York City have absolutely a right to go bankrupt and send all of your money to Mandami to fulfill his mission. What you don't have a right to is access to federal funds, where largely the American public voted Trump in office,
right,
not to have socialism, but to have an America First agenda. So you don't have the right to in Florida, we don't pay a whole lot in taxes, but you don't have a right to my income to carry out what you plan on doing in New York City under him.
We all pay federal taxes, and I think it's $2.5 trillion has gone overseas of our American taxes. Jesus. 2.5 trillion with a T, not a B, with a T. Trillion. That is insane.
That is insane.
Guys, that is insane.
We are going to take a quick commercial break here so you can get your Liberty cigars. Get your Liberty cigars before the holidays. No better way to bring in we actually had one last night.
Yes, we did.
But to be able to bring in the new year and the holidays, they make a great gift, ladies. I guess women are one of the largest purchasers of Liberty cigars, yes. Even though technically we aren't always the ones that smoke the most. But give somebody in your life this great gift. It's a really great gift to give to somebody that serves locally, maybe in local government.
Yes,
make
really great gifts and really great icebreakers.
Absolutely.
You can talk about
absolutely
what they mean.
So guys, we're going to take a quick break for a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back with more Open Mic after this.
From the heart of Marietta, Georgia, comes a tribute to the spirit of liberty. Liberty Cigars, where history meets craftsmanship. Each cigar tells a story. The Founders Collection honors the visionaries who shaped a nation. The President's House Collection celebrates the leaders who steered it. And the Naval Series salutes the heroes who defended it. Handcrafted with precision, each blend mirrors the essence of its namesake. From the boldness of George Washington to the elegance of Thomas Jefferson. Indulge in a moment of reflection. Light a Liberty cigar and savor the legacy. Discover your story at libertycigars.com, because every great nation deserves a great cigar. Liberty Cigars, smoke the history. And don't forget to use promo code OPENMIC for 10% off your order.
Gold IRA companies are a dime a dozen, especially in conservative media. We vetted out 34 companies and chose Augusta Precious Metals.
With the lowest across-the-board spreads in the gold IRA industry, Augusta saves Americans thousands of dollars.
They are the only major gold IRA company that has zero complaints from their customers. Zero. None.
Augusta Precious Metals does not have commissioned sales reps, which means their goals are aligned with yours.
They were the only gold IRA company that demonstrated integrity and transparency without using gimmicks.
The informative one-on-one web conferences by Augusta Precious Metals answer all of their customers' questions before they make a move.
If you're ready to learn about protecting your wealth and retirement with gold and silver, request your free gold guide from Augusta Precious Metals today.
Visit patriot.tv/gold. That's patriot.tv/gold today.
Hey guys, welcome back to Open Mic with Allie and Michelle, live from Washington, D.C., from the Capitol, where we are here. We didn't even take a second to really tell our viewers today what specifically we're here advocating for. We're here with a lot of ranchers, farmers, those that are involved in the production of all the food that you enjoy. So we're here from the consumer perspective and more of the mom perspective, but tell them what we're talking about.
So we're here to advocate or fight against the EATS Act, what was formerly known as the EATS Act, that was kind of shoved in to the farm bill that has not gone anywhere in the last couple of years because it's like 1,500 pages. It's insane.
Yeah.
But now the EATS Act has been changed to Save Our Bacon Act. SOB.
SOB. It's a SOB.
And it's essentially will wipe out our small farmers. In that's the overarching is it gives access to the 4 main corporate companies that own our, or run our food, beef and pork production, 2 of which are foreign owned, which is wild. But Smithfield is the one that has it's CCP owned. There's no American on their board. It's all Chinese Communist Party members that are sitting on the Smithfield board. And they are the largest lobby advocating for the SOB Act. And the reason why is because this was an answer to Proposition 12 from California, and I think Question 3 from Massachusetts. And essentially, the states have their own states' rights on how they farm, how they produce, how they package, how they do all of that in their own areas, because farmers that are local that do it every day know better. But it's easier to come into the American market when you only have one set rule across the board,
a federal
instead of 50 different markets.
And our federal government has really, especially under the Biden administration, they've done such a great job at keeping the CCP far away.
Yeah.
So we'd love to give them so much ownership over our food and what we do with it and how they're allowed to grow it. What I love about the argument that we're making against the Save Our Bacon Act, which, by the way, was filed by a Republican. So, but the argument that we're making against, one of the things I love about it, Allie, is that we're getting to hear from these ranchers and these farmers about what they feel is missing. First of all, from a consumer perspective, when you go into the grocery store and you look at the steak, you look at the ground beef that you're buying, and sometimes we like to see that product of the U.S. It's like when you check your tag for your clothing or whatever, you like to know where it's coming from. But what we do not have, and what you need to know as a consumer, what we do not have right now is a product, a place of origin
mandatory
label, which tells you where did that meat originate from? Because as Allie pointed out yesterday, they can bring meat in, unpackage it, add flavor to it, repackage it, and now it's a product of the U.S. How does that make you feel as a consumer? It's not. It feels like it's a violation of a lot of our consumer protection laws.
Yes.
And it does not help the people in this country that farm. I love a lot of farmers will say it this way. It's their trademark. The fact that they can say that it is grown in the United States, that boosts their product. And as an American, that is their right. That's
especially now.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you go to the grocery store, you should have the right to go, do I want this beef from Brazil or do I want this beef from the United States? But you're currently not getting that kind of information. And so I jokingly said yesterday, I don't want Shein beef. I don't want Temu beef. I mean, I'm okay with my shoes being from Temu, but I do not want my beef being Temu beef.
Especially because they don't have the same practices. America has the highest standard.
Oh, that part.
America has the higher standard and best practices.
Yeah.
We raise the best beef. We raise the best cattle. We raise the best like pork and things of that nature.
Me hungry. We haven't had breakfast yet.
I'm starving. I'm like trying to order at the same time while we're talking because I'm like so hungry. But it's a little difficult because we keep talking, and I can't focus.
She's like, shut up.
I have not had my coffee yet. But yeah, we're like Warren and ready to go. But this is just crazy to me. I just don't understand it as a consumer, from a consumer aspect. I mean, we're going to get into this a little deeper when we do our interview later today. We have a press conference, and then we're going to have an actual interview with some of the farmers and one of the main people that has put all of this together.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're looking at mandatory country of origin labeling. We're also looking at making sure that it's something about the OFF Act where our farmers aren't being forced into paying for lobbyists or lobbying for the bigger corporations that essentially are buying them out.
Yeah.
We'll get
that reminded me of like the teachers union.
Yes,
where they
it is.
used
It's
to automatically withdraw from your paycheck,
Yes.
and you're like, but then they actually their policies go against teachers.
Right.
It's like
and
don't force me.
education, which is so weird. So it's
Don't force me to go into my demise, which, we're talking about state sovereignty.
Yeah.
But
And individual sovereignty and consumer
Right.
laws and things of that nature.
But California really they've been watching their redistricting, which obviously we see redistricting happening across the country. Sometimes Republicans are excited about it. Sometimes it's Democrats, but the Democrats, it always cracks me up when they talk about how awful they think the redistricting is. You've been doing it forever, and not by the book, by the way, in California. Now it looks like California's mail-in ballots, which they're considering almost like a power grab in 2026. They're under criminal review, Allie, after some ballots were sent under the names of illegal aliens. Don't take my word for it. Here's the report.
Review. By whom and why? And also, in this vein, does the White House still plan to issue an executive order banning mail-in voting, and what legal authority do you have to do that?
The White House is working on an executive order to strengthen our elections in this country and to ensure that there cannot be blatant fraud, as we've seen in California with their universal mail-in voting system. It's absolutely true that there's fraud in California's elections. It's just a fact. It is just a fact. They have a universal mail-in voting system, which we know is ripe for fraud. And if you want to deny that, I'm happy to provide you all of the evidence for it. I'd be glad to send that to you after this briefing.
Rigged.
Fraudulent ballots that are being mailed in the names of other people, in the names of illegal aliens who shouldn't be voting in American elections. There's countless examples, and we'd be happy to provide them. As for executive action the White House is taking, yes, we are looking into that. And like any executive order, of course, any executive order the president signs is within his full executive authority and within the confines of the law.
But here's the problem with the executive orders. Currently, with a government shutdown and with the way they've slow walked some things, you understand in 2028, if the election doesn't go the way the America First groups want it to, all of Trump's things
will be undone.
And you'll be back to Biden Obama on day one. And that is the issue. They've got to codify this into law. I'm surprised that they're talking about election integrity in California, and they didn't probably have the time to mention that. But what are we going to do about the lack of voter ID in some of these states? California, just like the person who got the CDL license in California and came to Florida and killed a family of 3 because they couldn't read signs properly. Well, we hold California responsible for their poor decisions when it takes the life of somebody in another state. What are we going to do about California's decisions, their reckless decisions to not require ID at the time of an election? Because that also affects me. Because when California becomes extremely woke, they have representation within the House and Senate.
Yep, like we currently do already.
Oh, we had to meet with something.
And this is oh my gosh, that has been difficult.
They were like, we were like this to each other.
Zip it. Lock it down. No, but it's interesting to hear them complain about SNAP. Literally, we were in a representative's office from the House, and he's literally proceeded to tell us that 1 in 4 or 1 in 5 of their constituents are on SNAP.
Food benefits.
Both Michelle and I looked at each other and went. One, why? Sounds like you either need new jobs, more jobs. And 2, why are so many people on these benefits in your area?
And three, if you need the benefits, open the freaking government. It's your party that's holding it up. See, we couldn't say this yesterday, so we're saying it to you because we were like, oh my God, these people.
But I think we're able. So this is what a lot of people don't understand about Michelle and I. We can be in these rooms and still have these conversations and not sound like this. We're doing this with you guys because we understand that y'all know
you're safe.
Okay. And yes, you guys are pretty much our safe space. We're able to get on here. We're kind of able to banter and joke about it. But when we are in these rooms, we are extremely professional.
Yeah.
And we do not call them out. And we do in that way. We do, but it's not in a way where it's adversarial. Because the question is brought up, and I will email and I will call and follow up and say, hey, so you mentioned this, and I'm just really curious as to, have you guys ever thought about why so many people are on SNAP? we didn't do it there because that wasn't
the time
or place specific to the issue that we are talking about, which is the Save Our Bacon Act. So we didn't want to kind of flip into different topics at the time.
Right.
But we do have these conversations with them. It's not something that we shy away from. It's just time and place, and we're there to build relationships so that we can further the conversation.
And I think that the point of being here doing what we're doing in DC is, I mean, because listen, I can go into a Democrat representative's office and we can talk about SNAP benefits. We can talk about the
Democrat votes when we ran.
Sure, you there are things you can do that we can talk about. You know, we jokingly went to Nancy Pelosi's office. Like that is a real thing. But it felt like this week is more about trying to find maybe the one thing we agree on, which is making sure that consumers have transparency in where their products are coming from, and that we support the small ranchers. Because just like we preach about big pharma and big government and their overreaches, agriculture has a big ag overreach where there's a few players that want to control all the things. And what does that do to your mom and pop farmer? What does that do to the remember the days when you could go to like your local butcher and get all your homegrown meat? Well, that you're seeing more and more small farms that are just going belly up, out of business.
And they feed they're in our schools, and they feed our hospitals, and it's just, there's a lot that goes into that. And it's just, we'll get into that a little bit later, but.
Well, so I want to share with you this. We're just going to pivot a little bit to another presser that Donald Trump did. This I thought was very interesting because he's talking about with the shutdown, not just the shutdown, but with the shrinking of government largely. Take a listen to what he has to say about the payroll of the federal government.
And to curb inflation, we've slashed the size of government for the first time in years, and we're waging total war on waste, fraud, and abuse like we've never done before. Since January, 100,000 bureaucrats have left the federal payroll. Government spending is down 2.5% this quarter compared to 1 year ago. Think of that. And in stark contrast to last administration, 100% of all new jobs created in America under my administration have been created in the private sector.
In the private sector.
That's good.
That's not adding bloat to the federal government. That's, this is what drives me nuts. And when this happens even in your local government, school districts are really good at this. So they'll take their budget, and you tend to see them explode at the administrative level. Not that you don't need solid administration, but if you're top heavy in any form of government, that's not proper representation, in my opinion. And so I love that. I mean, they're leaving the workforce from the federal government. He's shrinking the federal government.
And that's a good thing. And I'm going to read this post from Chrisanne Hall, who is a constitutional attorney, probably one of the only ones that's like, she's just up there. She's great.
She has a website where you can go to take classes.
Liberty First Society.
LibertyFirstSociety.com, I believe. Yes.com.
And she says, can I please point out truth and the lies of the current political manipulation? This is not the longest government shutdown in America. Please do not be manipulated. Facts. From 1789 to 1865, the federal government was shut down for 8 to 10 months every year.
Wow. Does she say why?
From 1865 to 1910, the federal government was shut down for 6 to 8 months every year. It wasn't until 1930 that the government stayed open 12 months a year. So don't tell me we are suffering an emergency or catastrophe. We are actually moving in the right direction.
Wow. Tell me we don't know proper history, Allie.
We don't. And because government...
Our schools should be teaching this.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
I agree.
Because
government is there to make sure that government exists. Mm-hmm. A lot of things changed in the 1920s, 1930s, 1919, 1915. A lot of things changed and went into a completely different different direction than originally intended by our founders.
Yeah.
And when government is open for a lot longer than it should be, like when you are in state government, and instead of being in session for 3 months, you're in session for, I don't know, 6 months or 12 months, like in some states, you just continuously create laws that don't actually benefit people, but they benefit your pocket, or they benefit your own interests,
special interests.
or special interests and lobbyists that are not for you. So it's just, it's interesting.
Well, and I want to play this. I know you sent this to me, Allie. This is regarding Dr. Oz. He is Dr. Oz, right? TV personality. He is the administrator for the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services. He announced that there is evidence now. They have evidence that 6 Democrat states, Allie, have been stealing federal tax dollars. We just talked about this with Mandami, right? Don't take my tax money to do things that I wouldn't want them to be done. Stealing federal tax dollars, 6 Democrat-run states for healthcare for illegals. Now, this is something that obviously this is why we're fighting so hard with the left on the shutdown, because they want your federal tax dollars to be able to go legally now if they win to illegals. But so you think it's not happening, but Dr. Oz is like, wait a minute, we've already found that it's happening in these 6 Democrat states. Take a listen.
When the president offered me this job, he told me to protect our most vulnerable by rooting out fraud, waste, and abuse. I'm sharing these stories so you understand the stakes of our enforcement. So here's the situation. 6 states believe that they should be allowed to pay for illegal immigrants on the state level on their own to receive free health care. Now, free health care insurance attracts illegal immigrants and makes them unwilling to leave, even if we offer them cash. Equally importantly, I worry that federal taxpayer money will be siphoned towards these states and hurt the 44 states who disagree with attracting illegal immigrants with free insurance. In fact, Congress is shut down right now because Democratic senators don't like the One Big Beautiful Bill, which corrals this kind of fraud in Medicaid. We decided to investigate ourselves. I didn't really trust these 6 states. We found already $1.3 billion has been inappropriately taken from federal taxpayers in just the past few months.
Wow.
We just clawed back $300 million, which signals that the 6 states, they already know, they acknowledge that this is an embarrassing reality. We need to protect our most vulnerable and send a clear message that other countries should take care of theirs. Opening the government would be a step in the right direction.
Interesting. So I wonder, for our viewership out here, the America public, middle class America, how that makes you feel that, lots of times there are things that people within this country need help with, whether it's SNAP benefits or help with Section 8 temporary assistance, that largely these programs are drained because now we're finding out that illegals are in fact getting that type of assistance and they're not paying into the system. I know we had somebody yesterday that we were talking to in one of the meetings. Again, it's one of the times that I think we did very well with restraining ourselves and not saying anything, but we're meeting with a Democrat representative, and somebody in the room with us had mentioned that there was such a need for, not just SNAP benefits, but their particular area of the country was hit with some natural disasters. And so they're like, FEMA is slow walking them. We're not getting any help. And I'm thinking, well, because you gave it all to the illegals.
Right. Like,
so are you shocked? Like, it was your boy at the helm. It was Biden. But again, we didn't say that. But well, I chewed a lot of gum in that office. I'm just going to say, because
it's frustrating because they just don't. It's almost like they're ignorant on purpose.
Yes, willful ignorance. Willful.
And that's hard to have a conversation with somebody because they lean it towards, oh, well, you're just a Trumpite. I'm not.
But Allie, we also heard that in representatives' offices too, and of course, largely with their aides. But that's who's picking up the phone. That's who's answering the phone when
they're the gatekeepers,
and they, talking about this administration and how tough. And I get it, but we're not the ones keeping the government shut down. And all you hear is like, how hard that is for them up here to do their job. And I get that. Every time we went through security checkpoint, you're thanking people like, thank you for doing your job.
Or even thanking the aides because they're not getting paid.
Yeah.
They're here working and they're not getting paid. But we could do without the attitude though.
A little bit of attitude. A little bit of sass. It wasn't really fun. So let's talk about some of the other election results. We've talked about the shocking election result of Mandami being elected as New York City mayor, although I think largely that's because who he had running against him. I don't think anybody was going to vote for Cuomo. I mean, it just not after what he did through COVID. So that was kind of sad. But we also saw that Jack Ciattarelli, the Republican in the governor's race for New Jersey, lost to Mickey Sherrill.
Good Lord, I did not see that coming.
I didn't either.
I did not see that coming. New Jersey, this is what's crazy is because New Jersey showed up for Trump.
Yeah.
Like Trump won everything. So it's confusing to me. And it's like the Democrats are celebrating all of this, saying that, this is what happens when the pendulum swings, which no, this is just what happens when people don't come out to vote. And when you don't have strong voter election laws.
Well, and so you understand that part of what the Democrat Party is doing is they're taking this as a victory, both New Jersey, New York City, and we'll get to Virginia in a minute. Almost changing that state from red to blue. They're taking it as a victory that people are somehow unhappy with Trump, and so they're acting out in these elections. I don't see evidence of that. There's nobody that voted for Mandami in New York City that actually voted for Trump and changed their mind and voted for Mandami. Do you understand? Like, I don't believe that you wake up one day and go, you know what? Socialism sounds really great today.
Right. No.
But it does make you worry. I mean, you heard Byron Donalds, the clip, it was a couple days old, where he's talking about the New York City election. And he says, I don't think you'll be able to drive across the bridge to New Jersey if New York City falls. Well, New Jersey's fallen as well. So it's disheartening.
It is. It's I don't know. I wonder what it will look like in the next couple of months.
One has to wonder.
Next year, effectively, because that's when they all kind of swear in.
November 1st. Or January 1st. You're right. We'll talk now a little bit about Winsome Sears and her race. The Democrat Abigail Spanberger officially was projected to win. So Winsome Sears, who was the lieutenant governor in Virginia, she is out, and I guess we have Spanberger now as the Democrat. So Virginia was a real hub for parental rights. We saw that push through Virginia, and then we had a wonderful. I just thought Winsome Sears was such a great candidate. So I think you heard something about.
I did. So it said this was maybe a day ago, 20 hours ago.
Okay.
He said last night there were. This is by Peter Bernegger at Peter. I thank you for posting this. Yeah. We're trying to get some information here.
Yeah.
It says last night there were 125,000 early mail-in votes for Democrat governor candidate Spanberger. This morning there were over 300,000 early mail-in votes for her, and the sources at Bolly Do. And took a look at the Virginia's attorney general race, which we're going to talk about. Miaris, which is Republican, versus Jones, Democrat for AG in Virginia. Republican Miaris lost right at the time inside the green box, which we'll show you. Well, I can't really show you this, but let's see if you can see that. So you see this green box here? Maybe a little bit. This right here. That's when they lost. So there's an influx of mail-in votes.
2020 as well.
Yeah, the AG, which is really interesting because the AG for Virginia.
Let's talk about this because I know we've got about 4 minutes left. Let's talk about the Attorney General from.
I can't.
This is Jay Jones. He's officially the winner for the Attorney General race in Virginia. He's the one that came out, Allie, and said, he actually has dreams of those of us who sit on the other side of the aisle, of us and our children being slaughtered.
That's a vote for violence. Like, that's not even a vote for like a different political ideology. That was a vote for violence. And the fact that this man won, whether they cheated or not, is just, I'm disgusted. Pray for your children in Virginia. I'm shocked. I really am.
So there's three things that I think occur. I don't think anybody who voted for Trump in the 2024 election woke up and
voted.
decided to be a socialist Marxist. So I don't personally believe that this is a reflection of what Trump's done in his first year.
I don't agree with that either.
But if it's not, if it doesn't make the case for you about mail-in voting, and you know what, send me $1,000 cash in an envelope through the federal mail system.
You're not going to do it.
You won't do that?
You're not
Well,
gonna
then
do
why
it.
the hell do you put your ballot in the mail?
Right.
Is all I'm saying. First of all, mail-in voting gotta go in that sense. Second of all, it could be a sign of voter apathy, because in my opinion, sometimes you look at Trump and you look at the big wins and you kind of sleep on your local municipalities and governors, because you've been so used to we get very compliant in this country, where we get back into our yes, and you almost have to have that little pinch. That's what COVID was. It was a pinch of discomfort where we were like, what the hell? No,
federally.
Yeah.
And local wise, which is why nobody really came out to vote for Cuomo. There were so many people that were like, no, I'm just not going to vote for Cuomo.
Yeah. And then they pack up and move. And it's like,
right. Which is, no, don't do that
No,
either.
no.
But it's hard. It's really disheartening. I'm so shocked.
Well, and so we're going to keep our eye on this as we move, obviously, through towards January. So that the ask is, well, what can you all do today? What can you guys do?
Yeah.
Well, I think largely, guys, you have to have hope. You have to have hope in something other than the government, because they're not here to solve your problems. They're here only to survive in their own existence. So make sure, guys, that you are tuning in every day, Monday through Friday. Make sure you join us on social media at Real Ally Leger, at Michelle Posey, and at Open Mic Ladies on all platforms. Share. That way your loved ones also have a place where they can get their most recent news and be able to talk about it kitchen table style. Like we say, we do have meetings that we have to run off to.
I know.
We're going to get coffee beforehand, though, because
Yes.
me without caffeine is not.
No bueno. For both of us.
Okay. I was like, I'm feeling called out. Allie.
For both of us. I'm serious, for both of us. But it has been fun. And we love what we're doing.
Yeah.
And we like to bring that to you guys to show you that you can do it as well. But be local. Get involved locally.
I recommend that you call your congressional members, both Senate and House, and let them know to not support the Save Our Bacon Act. Number one, don't support it. And if they sneak it into a new farm bill this year, watch out. Please do not support it. We want to protect our local small ranchers and farmers. Guys, that's it for us here today. Make sure you guys tune in tomorrow. We'll have another great episode for you. And of course, follow us on social media, guys. That's it for us here today.
Bye, guys.
I've treated trauma in war zones, car accidents, backcountry rescues, you name it. And I often had to rely on inferior equipment. So when the folks at Jace Medical offered to help me build the medical kits I'd always dreamed of, I jumped at the chance. Let's start with the Jace Medic Kit. It's laid out for fast, intuitive access. It even includes a dedicated slot for the Jace case, your emergency supply of antibiotics. Next is the Jace Trauma Kit. This is for the most serious injuries, massive bleeding, chest wounds, burns, blunt trauma. We've also included a powerful lineup of over-the-counter and prescription medications. For everyday injuries, this is the Jace Aid Kit, your glove box, backpack, kitchen drawer essential. Compact, rugged, and packed with high-quality supplies. It's the first rugged kit combining prescription meds and premium first aid gear.
Visit patriot.tv/kit. That's patriot.tv/kit to get the only med kit on the market designed for real-world emergencies.
Gold IRA companies are a dime a dozen, especially in conservative media. We vetted out 34 companies and chose Augusta Precious Metals.
With the lowest across-the-board spreads in the gold IRA industry, Augusta saves Americans thousands of dollars.
They are the only major gold IRA company that has zero complaints from their customers. Zero. None.
Augusta Precious Metals does not have commissioned sales reps, which means their goals are aligned with yours.
They were the only gold IRA company that demonstrated integrity and transparency without using gimmicks.
The informative one-on-one web conferences by Augusta Precious Metals answer all of their customers' questions before they make a move.
If you're ready to learn about protecting your wealth and retirement with gold and silver, request your free gold guide from Augusta Precious Metals today.
Visit patriot.tv/gold. That's patriot.tv/gold today.